Okay, good morning. So we're up to Siman Kuf Tzadi. Interesting Siman. We're talking about the case of Ber Pragofen. When you make a Ber Pragofen after benching all the halachas. So it's quite a straightforward Siman. Let's do it. You finish benching, you make a Ber Pragofen. So we discussed all the halachas previously of when you do and don't. But now we're actually discussing for those who do, what do you actually do it? What do you actually do? What are the mechanics? So you make a ber pragofen, v'yitoim ha'mevarich, and the mevarich drinks from the wine, v'im hifsik ben ha'bracha l't'im, and if he makes a delay between making the bracha and tasting the wine, ayin lekam and siman rish ayin aleph sif tesvav, v'achach yitam achirim, and then others taste the wine. Im kulam zukukim l'kais echad, if all of them are going to drink from the same kais, v'noisen ha'mevarich mikais l'kais reikon shebiyadam, then you'll see the Mishnah is going to explain exactly what he means. The Lashon is a bit megumgum. He then takes from his cup and he gives everybody. Lo yitamu yitamhu. Then they shouldn't drink anything until he drinks. Avalim einom zukukim lekaiso. If they don't need his kais, yecholim nitzim kodim shitamhu. Then they can drink before he drinks. So the Mishnah will explain exactly what that means. Ein sorach hamavarech lishpoich mikaiso lekais hamasubin. He doesn't need to pour into their kais unless their kais is pogum. So what does all this mean? Says the Mishnah Berurah, Aleph. I.e., when you bench ala kais, that we discussed previously, then he makes a birchas hamazon. He makes a ber pragofen on the birchas hamazon. V'hainu afilu im kva berach al hayayin shebetech hasuda. Even if he may have made the ber pragofen during the meal, he needs to make another bracha after the meal. Shekama she'oichel b'sheis acha birchas hamazon suda achersi. Because once he's benched, it's now considered a new meal. Lefi shebirchas hamazon hu siluk v'etzach hadas l'masha lefoneh, because birchas hamazon is a cessation of what happened previously. If you take a look at footnote 1, it says v'lifnei shemavarach al hakos, and before he makes a bracha al hakos, kosev b'shatzion le'el she'ein noagim loima l'mesubim sabri. Right, it's very interesting. Says the footnote number 1 that when you make a bracha ber pragofen after birchas hamazon, you don't need to say birshus or sabri. Why? Because shekvar not rishus kodim shehischel levarich birchas hamazon. You already did it. Whenever you don't need to be notel rishus, then you don't need to say savri, because savri is an expression of asking permission. Okay, so you don't need to ask their permission, but you should at least wait for them to basically finish. Okay, sif cotton base ayin lekamen siman reish ayin aleph sif tesvav. So we said that the mevarich should be toim the wine, and if he made a hefsek between the bracha and the tima, take a look at reish ayin aleph. What's the halacha over there? It's a chayzer mevarich. That if there was a gap after he made the bracha before he drank, so then he will need to make a new bracha. Of a milsa the shaykh la suda ain't a chayzer mevarich b'diavad. But if, however, whatever is shaykh still to the suda, for example, he wants to clear his throat or help the food digest, then b'diavad he won't need to make a new bracha. Okay. And then we said, V'achach yitamu acherim. So says Mishnah Berurah, Sivkotim Gimel, Shekiven shehu beirach al kais zeh. Since he made a bracha on this kais, nochen hu sheyishtehu tchila. It's appropriate that he makes the first bracha. Then, im kulam zukukim. So, im haloshen, says the Mishnah Berurah, Sivkotim Dalet, haloshen megumgum ktsas. The loshen is a little bit confused. V'kavnosa ki ilu kosov, and it's as if the Machab is saying the following: V'chein im kulam, v'chein im kulam zukukim. If all of them are zokuk, v'rotzaloma zalome boy im yesh rak kais echad, v'kulam sheisim mikayzeh. Not only if they're all drinking from one kais, but vaday nochen lachatchila shoyita mikaydem. Certainly, it's appropriate that if they're all drinking from one kais, that he tastes a bit first, and then he gives everybody else. V'afilu im kol echad kais reik on the fonov. Even if everybody's got an empty glass, an empty kais in front of them, and he pours from his kais into their kais after he makes the bracha, it's not appropriate for them to drink before him. In other words, he's made the bracha for them, and therefore he should drink first, and then they get to drink. אבל אם אינם רוצה לומר, אם יש לפני כל אחד כוס יין, והוא מוציאם בברכוסי, וכאילו הם מברכים בעצמם, אין צריכים להמתין עליו. So it depends what the mechanics are. If he is being mitzi them on their drink, they've got his benching. After benching, he makes a burper gofen, and every single person has got a bit of wine in their little case. They poured out before benching, for example. Then, in his being mitzi them, then they don't need to wait for him. They can just drink their wine because he was being mitzi them. It's as if they made the bracha, and they can just drink straight away. Okay, Sif Cotton Vav. That we said, an ein tzarech hamavarich lishbech mikaisa lekaisa hamasubin. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Cotton Vav. Koy Adlel is going on the previous shtickle. Shelo hayu zukukin lekaisa shel hamavarich. They don't need his kais. V'hatam the ein tzarech lishbech because mishum dekim the yotzav rechosa because he's been made to them with his bracha. In kain kaisus kol echad mikri kaishal bracha, and therefore each individual person has their own kais, and that's called the kaishal bracha. However. Ela im Kain, we said Tov Kais Hamasubin Pogum, unless their case is Pogum, says Mishmur Zayin, She'al Sarach Lishbech Mikais Lekaisom. Then he needs to fix it. He needs to pour from his case into their case ma'at, a little bit of wine, Kaidim Shetoa Mimenu, Kadei Lesakin Pikimosam, because by pouring from his case into theirs, which their case is Pogum, that fixes it. That is Mesakin it. Ubazet Shichin Izah, Shelo Yitamu Kaidim Sheyitaim. And therefore they shouldn't drink yet. He should pour it in. So just to summarize what we said, after he finishes benching, he makes the berper gofen, and then he should have a tea. He should taste the wine, and he should try and do this as quickly as possible, not to make a hefsek between the bracha and drinking. If he's being moitzi others on their bracha, they can drink straight away. If he's not, then they would wait for him to drink first, and he gives everybody a bit, and he may need to be masak in their kais pogum. If their kais is pogum, they drank from it already, for example, and they've got a bit of wine in front of them, he will just need to pour a little bit into their kaises, and that is masak in their kais pogum. Okay, base. Achash shasa kaisha brachas amazon yivarich bracha achas me'ein shalish. After benching, he drinks from the berber gofen, and he's drunk a revius. We'll see soon how much. He makes an ala gefen, he makes a bracha me'ein shalish. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Cotton Ches, v'im dai telishtas oid le'varach achrov. If he wants to drink more, then he shouldn't make a bracha achrona straight away. Let him drink more. When he's eventually finished, then he makes a bracha achrona. But that's only if he's going to drink straight away after the koshel bracha. Because he shouldn't miss making a berper an ala gefen, because once he waits too long, the wine has digested and he's lost his chance. Because the shear of how long do you have for an after bracha, for an ala gefen, is not the same as with food. So the footnotes explain that how long taka does he have. So for example, he's finished the meal, and he makes his after bench ala kais, he makes the berper and he drinks, and he wants to drink a little bit more wine, that's okay. But he shouldn't wait too long to make the ala gefen. How long? So definitely up to 30 minutes is okay. But he brings it back, Rabbi Yasha, not more than 1 hour. So the 72-minute rule would apply to Brachas Hamazon, we've discussed, but he shouldn't wait too long, but his 30 minutes is certainly okay. Alright, Gimel. How much wine do you have to drink to make a bracha achrona? Yesh sofek im dai bekazayis or berevius. Says the Mechaber, it's a machlekas, it's not clear if it's a kazayis or revius. So at least drink that amount. He shouldn't drink less than that. So he should drink the revius sholim. So the Mishnah Berurah is going to explain what he means. And it's true with other liquids as well. When you drink your coffee, do you make a bracha achrona over it? We've discussed this before. The best thing to do is just to leave enough at the bottom so you drink it in one go, revius in one go, that there's no shaila. Dai bekazayis. So the shaila is it a kazayis or revius? Kazayis is kamo ba'achila. The kaimla b'chol makom shia achila bekazayis. And how much is that? V'uchatzi beitza, half a beitza, k'mavu b'simen tov pevov. U'lefizeh b'mashkin yechuyev b'bracha achrona b'shlish revius. It's a third of revius. The revius who beitza v'chatzi kiodua. So a third of that is a beitza, is a chatzi beitza. V'ayin simen reisha in aleph sifrit gimel mashe kasafti sham Mishnah Berurah be'halacha. revius, or maybe it's a whole revius. Commission Matzina become a dinner Torah in mashkin dashi and revius. For hacha pirush the bashash dias shemishus. Any other drinkings, which is a reshus, yochel gam listalig min asofig, b'mashish tepachas mikazai, b'mish tepachas mikazais. You can drink less than a kazais. To bezeh potzel lekula alma lemelvarch achrov. Avad hacha b'keish berchas amazon, ef shelasas kain. You can't just have a sip to give him the ton kais. Since you need a proper kais, tzarich al kol ponim lishus moli lugmav. You got to minimally drink a moli lugmav, a cheekful, shehu roiv revius, which is the majority of revius, v'haber yesem mikazais, which is a lot more than a kazais. So shehu roiv revius, mishnah yud gimel, hainu ba'adam beinani. That's for a regular person. Machazik shirakach. That's what we assume. A roiv revius is going to be a moli lugmav, a cheekful. Ava ba'adam gadol, a big guy. But yosem misharin k'moli lugmav. Today we look. It's a subjective share, and we go after his moli lugmav. But either way, you don't need more than a revius. So just to summarize, how much you need to drink? You should drink either a minimally moli lugmav, which is a cheekful. Or roiv revius, which is a roiv revius, or ideally just drink a revius. But a revius is not that much. Yeah, it's not a huge amount. Revius shalem, v'ayin tash shekosov del ikadin kaimla b'moli lugmov. Me'ika, you're allowed to rely on having a moli lugmov. V'lefichachim lo shos rak moli lugmov chayev levarich bracha achronis. The Taz holds that if you had a moli lugmov, then that requires a bracha achrona. But you should certainly have a revius to be yet to the minimal. But the poskim say that you've got to drink at least a revius in order to make a bracha achrona. So it's a very interesting halacha. If you drink a whiskey or a l'chaim or something, the Mishnah Berurah is saying over here that unless you drink a revius, you can't make a bracha achrona. So if you have a little shot glass of a whiskey or a liqueur or vodka or something, then you don't make a bracha achrona according to the Mishnah Berurah over here. Look, Daled and Hay is very short. It will just take a minute. Let's just quickly do Daled and Hay. If he doesn't want to drink, that's okay. Somebody else should drink from the Ber Pragofen. If you can't join two people drinking together to make a share, but ideally everyone should have a little sip of the kosher bracha. Lekaman ayin, lekaman simin reish ayin aleph sif yud chalad. Says the Mishnah Berurah, yitzen echad me'amasubin v'tekivin shamasubin shamu mitchila es habracha v'hu kivin aleim lo yitzim, and he was moitzi them. Therefore, somebody else's tasting will be enough. You can't join together. Either he himself, one person drinks the proper share, i.e. revius. Everyone should have a little sip of the kosher bracha. Only one person needs a moli lugmov. That's just talking about the Indians. Everyone have a little taste. That's a nice thing to do. But if you in other words, the ikar is that one person has a revius. But if you've got a bigger case and you can give everybody a little bit, then great, go for that. And then Simon Reish Aleph, he says, check out that. Okay. Let's just finish. Hey. And one guy makes brachas hamazon, who knows how far it's going to go? Everyone's drinking a little bit. You didn't know if the case is going to come to you, so therefore you didn't really have in mind to be yotze from his bracha, and therefore you need to make a new bracha. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Yutes, the mistoma ein amuchen lot says ein mechaven, lot says brachas hamavarich. He doesn't know if he's going to reach him, so therefore he didn't have in mind to be yotze from the guy making the ber pragofen. The Kosam Magen Avram, this is what you should do. If they have in mind that if the kosher bracha comes to me, then I'm going to be yotze, then great. In Gam, only if Hamavarich nischavan hoitzi b'rechasa shel echad me'amsulim. The guy, the Mavarich, also has them in mind. V'chein iskim ha'bechreinim, v'achizar kulam misha roitz elitam min ha'kois al smach b'rechas ha'mavarich, shelo yasichu ad she'itam min ha'kois, kadei shelo yehefsik bein bracha l'datima. So in other words, the guy making the kosh, the brachas hamazon, the berber gofen, he should make the berber gofen. He's moitzi everyone. They should have in mind to be yotze. He should have in mind to moitzi them, and no one should speak before. But until they actually drink from the wine, there shouldn't be a hefsek between the bracha and the drinking.
I had this on Shabbos. I was the first time ever that I was at a bris on Shabbos, and the moil announced.
Everyone should have mind. Very good. Well, fantastic. Okay, say it.